All right. So y'all know what we're celebrating. We're celebrating tonight. We're celebrating tonight. We deserve to celebrate. We're celebrating tonight. I'm over here at the bottom, waiting for the song to go back to the beginning. Let's see if I can affect that. So, Shedeur Sanders is QB2 despite the obstacles. And it has become apparent to many, many people that Kevin Stefanski, Shedeur's own head coach, was one of the main obstacles that we could see, right? Haslam told us Shedeur wasn't his pick, but he said Stefanski decides who to choose to play. So that's why Stefanski is catching heat. So first, I want to congratulate Shedeur Sanders for elevating to QB2. They said he had taken no days off since Flacco left, and with Flacco being such a great, like a great mentor to him, you know, teaching him the ropes. I'm sure it was a surprise that he left suddenly, and Shedeur still rocking, right? So Shedeur is QB2 ahead of Pittsburgh's game. But before we get to the game, I just want y'all to know we're not the only people calling out Kevin Stefanski. The legendary Troy Aikman said that he didn't hold back and he tore into Kevin Stefanski, calling the Cleveland Browns head coach absolutely foolish for refusing to give a promising young quarterback like Shedeur Sanders a real shot. It said instead, letting him rot on the bench while lesser talents get the spotlight. This is what needed to be said. This right here will be found under what needs to be said. Shout out to Troy Aikman, right? He didn't have to say anything. His career is over, and that's how they want you to be. And Troy Aikman just said what so many people in the media on these big box channels just refuse to say. They'll say something is just not right. Well, it's more to it than that. Or they're left confused, or they're surprised to learn that he'll never get a true opportunity in Cleveland, or that Kevin Stefanski doesn't like Shedeur. Duh. Kevin Stefanski doesn't think Shedeur, a young black elite quarterback, is worthy of holding the most important position in the NFL, because he said it, I don't know how many times. The most important position on the team, the quarterback position. We have standards for this position, as if this young man is somebody out here being charged with something, and they have so many players that are. One player actually said, we have people with DWIs. We have people with domestic violence charges. We have rapists, right? We have so many things in this league. People with all sorts of charges that they get convicted of. Ben Roethlisberger. And he was not suspended, but holding up your watch is where they draw the line, because he's black. I'm just happy Troy Aikman called out Kevin Stefanski directly. So let's see how long it takes Cleveland to replace Stefanski, because as Troy Aikman pointed out, Stefanski is foolish, for one, not for refusing to give a promising young quarterback a real shot. That's number one. But the most egregious part is letting him rot on the bench. That's number two. Number three, while lesser talents get the spotlight. Lesser talented quarterbacks didn't have to earn the reps, but Shedeur did. Kevin Stefanski was essentially holding up a bar for Shedeur to cross under or to cross over. And he kept raising it and raising it and raising it. And his last press conference before this one, he ended it by saying, be where your feet are. It's always something Shedeur hasn't done or he needs to do to earn it. But Dillon didn't have to earn anything. In fact, Dillon should have been an undrafted free agent, as he was predicted to be. So shout out to Troy Aikman for speaking the truth. Let's see how many people are willing to echo it. And for those people giving Haslam the praise, Haslam does not get a pass. This is his team. And if he honestly didn't think what the servant leader of the Cleveland Browns was doing was right, why did he not intervene? Questions need to be asked. Stefanski needs to be fired. and Haslam's leadership needs to be under a microscope. So shout out to Shedeur Sanders. Shout out to Troy Aikman for speaking the truth and breaking it down and showing the layered issues that were plaguing Shedeur. And to me, all of this snowball came after 3 Browns players added transparency, much needed transparency that Kevin Stefanski refused to give about Shedeur being ready, how hard he works, his exceptional work ethic, the initiative he takes to make sure he's ready. He was doing all of that while Stefanski was coming up with more excuses to let him rot on the bench. Shout out to Troy Aikman. So that's the congratulations we want to give to Shedeur. You know, I have a question for you guys. There's going to be a banner running across the bottom of the screen because, you know, I just kind of want to know what you guys are thinking now going forward. So check out the banner across the bottom of the screen. It's asking you to predict the score for Colorado versus Iowa State. And we're going to talk about Colorado as well. And then it's asking you, are you planning to watch the Browns versus the Steelers? Come to find out, the Browns have lost 21 consecutive times, going all the way back to 2003 in the regular season. It's been since 2003 that the Browns have defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers in the regular season. So I'm not asking you to predict that game. I'm not asking you to predict that game. I'm curious to find out now that since Shedeur is QB2, if you plan to watch the Browns, because many of us were not watching them. Me, I didn't even watch the highlights. And I didn't watch Kevin Stefanski's press conference today. I had it bookmarked, but I just didn't want to waste my time. So let's move into Coach Prime, and then we'll come back to the Steelers. All right. So I saw what we lost the player. I don't know what happened, but he transferred in from Auburn. If y'all have any information, let me know. He was a safety. We don't need to lose no safeties. But apparently we did have a safety to transfer out. Let me know what's going on. Also, Colorado has a very lengthy injury list with probable, doubtful, etc. I think I saw Draylon on there, so maybe he'll play. Hopefully the Kaylon Taylor and Simeon Price are back. But I just noticed how lengthy Colorado's injury list was, a probable list. So let me know what y'all think about that as well. Shout out to Coach Prime. I'm happy to see him on this segue because this is what he needs to be on. I said this at home. I said, Coach Prime need to hop on either that little scooter thing or he need to get back on his Segway because he had one before. So they must have pulled it out of the storage and gave it to him. And this is what he needs to be on in practice. Because I heard the doctor tell him that there are ways to prevent him having to have these surgeries with these clots, or preventing the clots altogether in his, his legs. So hopefully this is a part of the treatment process, the preventative maintenance, preventative measures, so that he does not have to go for a 17th surgery for clots. So shout out to Colorado and Coach Prime for making, it makes me feel good that they want to accommodate him, right? I mean, they're damn near second to last. And, people have a lot of speculation about what's going on, how they feel about Coach Prime, what they might do. But this just shows that they care. They have the pens has the area where he can go and relieve himself. Then he got the little stool so he can sit down. And now they brought out the Segway so he can keep up with his players, because that was a really big condition of when Coach Prime will return to Colorado. He wanted to be able to keep up with his players. And with this Segway, he can do that. So shout out to Coach Prime for taking care of himself and the Colorado family over there, making sure that their head coach is healthy. That's a sign of commitment. So I'm really happy about that. So let me know your thoughts about the whole transfer out, how you feel about the injury list. I want you to predict the score. Join us live tomorrow starting at 3:15 for the watch party. We'll be live through the entire game, praying hard that these kids can pull this off. All right, so let me know your thoughts in the comments, and when you predict the score, definitely let me know who you expect to win. If you're watching the game, let me know which game you're watching. If you say I'm watching the Browns, let me know that. Or if you say I'm watching Colorado or I'm watching Browns and Colorado. Because by the time I get to the comments, we're going to be ahead. So context might be lagging. So let me know. All right. So let me hop back over here to Cleveland because they have a injury list for Pittsburgh. Now, I know some of y'all are experts with some of these teams in terms of who the best players are. So I looked at the list and I saw some names. And my angle, I'm trying to see if Pittsburgh going to really show up or if they going to, kind of help out, Dylan and the Browns. So, let me know. Let me know. I'm getting ready to share. I'm getting ready to share this list. Here it is right here. All right. And shout out to Bucky Wellock Media for 144. The rejected will be respected. I think it's, you see it right here. So I like this. So y'all actually bought this for me. Remember when it was my birthday in August. So I wanted to wear it tonight since Shedeur made it to QB2. Where is my page at? That's what I'm looking for. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. So if you do tab, make sure y'all can see it. Okay, so y'all can see it. Okay, here we go right here. Now, y'all let me know if y'all know any of these people. Brooke Pryor posted this earlier today. It said Jalen Ramsey is officially questionable versus the Browns, while Calvin Austin III is out. All right, so here's what I want to know. I've heard the name Jalen Ramsey a lot. I know him to be a really good player. Will his absence, if he's truly unavailable, will be impactful in the game? If so, how? Everyone else, Alex Highsmith, Joey Porter Jr., and Jalen Warren are off the injury report and good to go. So if this is the injury report, the practice report, this tells you some people maybe not. So some people were DNP through yesterday, and it looks like some people maybe return to practice. So any of these players, Calvin Austin is out. DK Metcalf looks like, is he going to return? He's a wide receiver. I know who DK Metcalf is. And Jalen Ramsey. I don't know who Ben is. Ben Shonerick. I don't know him. He said he got an illness. She mentioned Calvin Austin. Darius Slay. I know who that is because he came from Philly. So I don't know here if he's FP. Maybe that's full practice. And then Joey Porter Jr., hamstring. Jalen Warren, like she said, Alex Highsmith is back. So maybe that's full practice. I don't know. And then TJ Watt. Now, this name I do know. I do know because I think TJ Watt is the person that popped Cam Newton in the shoulder and re-injured that rotator cuff. Y'all told me to go watch Cam highlights, and this one came away. He popped him right in that rotator cuff. And don't forget, Cam was a part of Bountygate. He wasn't an active participant, but it seems to be when Bountygate was active down there in New Orleans, that Cam was on the list, and he got injured pretty badly. And then Cameron Hayward. So, if most of y'all are familiar with these players, which players do they really, really need that's on this list? DK Metcalf, I see his name is up here in bold. So I would think that they would want him to play. So I don't know if he's going to be able to play or not. It said resting vet. So see, they do rest players. So, I was just wondering if this is one of those games where they're going to rest somebody, because I suspected that they were resting people in the Philly versus the New York Giants game yesterday, because they played twice. And they have another game coming up in October. So what are your thoughts about some of these players who can come back and some who will be out? Do you think it'll be really impactful? Do you think it'll give the Browns an edge? That's my question to you all. I'll leave it on the screen so you can answer the question, because that's just what I want to know. So let me know about that. And I'm going to start checking the comments to see what y'all are saying. Okay, Shedeur's name QB2. Yes, Titus. Yes. We are excited. Perfect timing. Yep. It said, Tina, how you doing? It said, yep, ready to cut up tonight. Hey, see you. How you doing? See you, Buff Merc. That's so cute. It says Stefanski should be embarrassed. He should be. He should be fired. They should have cleaned out his desk. I told you when he come to work, his stuff, his little belongings ought to be by the door on the outside. Because Haslam ought to be embarrassed. That's who ought to be embarrassed. I had a post on Thread that said, there was a post on Threads, somebody that said they were a analyst of college football and the NFL. And they said, Shedeur Sanders can play for about 4 teams that need a quarterback right now, but he's somewhere riding on the bench. So it was a lot of voices out here. And you know that Troy Aikman wasn't the only one. Congratulations, Shadeur. Right. Congratulations. It said on the comeuppance is here. I hope so, Saeed. I hope so. And it's just not performative. I don't think it is. I think they holding Kevin Stefanski's feet to the fire and calling him out. Orlovsky's mediocre, but would never say it. Yeah, I passed by a channel, and ever since this happened, you know, normally I have the TV on while I'm working. I've been watching boat crashes or boat people boating or whatever, people buying boats, selling boats, enjoying boats, taking trips from Florida to the Bahamas. I've just been into the whole boating scene, right? And I think I felt that way because I knew that they were holding Shedeur back, and you just got to back away from it sometimes. Like the reason I didn't even listen to Kevin Stefanski's press conference, I'm not listening to him. After I heard him say, dodge all the questions that Daniel Oyefusi had about Shedeur getting first team reps, after Mary Cabot asked him about was it the reason that maybe Flacco was gone was, you know, because of Shedeur or something like that. And he didn't want to answer the question. And then he ended his question, you know, when he was asked, do the players ever come to him? And, you know, hey, you know, coach, I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to play. What can I do? And he said, yeah. And then he was like, blah, 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 blah. And one thing I tell the players is be where your feet are. And that's the same day Shedeur was shooting the commercial. And I have said this before, the way that Kevin Stefanski discriminated against Shedeur is disgusting and would have not been able to do so in any normal corporation. And for Haslam to sit back is negligence, number 1. 2, he's complicit. And 3, he needs to be investigated to see if he's the catalyst for the discrimination against Shedeur. And Kevin Stefanski is just what he describes himself as in his bio on X, a faithful servant to the Cleveland Browns. No owner would allow you to drive their billion-dollar corporation into the ground unless he was a part of it. It said, let's send Shedeur Sanders' beautiful mother, Miss Pilar, happy birthday. It's her birthday. And I had a video to share with her. She was cooking. And I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to share it or not. But shout out to Miss Pilar. I didn't know it was her birthday. She was over there cooking a fabulous meal. I was like, oh, Miss Pilar can throw down in the kitchen. So happy birthday to Miss Pilar. Happy birthday. If I would have known it's her birthday, I would have shared the video. Because I think I definitely uploaded it. I might share it tomorrow during the game, maybe at halftime. We'll wish her a happy belated tomorrow. It said Kevin better not have Shedeur running for his life with his sorry tail plays. I agree. That's why I'm wondering if people going to watch the game to see how it go down. So let me know if y'all plan on, well, now that Shedeur is QB2, are you planning on watching the game? 1, to see if he gets in. That's just, you know, what it's like. And 2, if he gets in, you know, what is it going to look like for him? I already know how many times Flacco was sacked, and I already know how many times Dillon been sacked. So, you know, if I hear these weird, strange numbers, like Jalen Hurts was sacked 3 times last night. Jalen Hurts don't get sacked 3 times on average. So that's, you know, something different for him, right? In other words, we own it. We're on it. We're on it. Believe me, we're on it. It said Kevin Stefanski is evil. It said Troy Aikman is a real man. Yeah. And you know what's crazy? Like, all of the media, they all could have said that. They just wanted to skirt around it, which is why it's a conflict of interest for the NFL to own 10% of ESPN, because it handcuffs ESPN from telling the truth and being transparent and saying what Troy Aikman said. It's no different than the Browns ruling by intimidation and fear tactics to try to isolate Shedeur in public with people staying away from him because that's what Stefanski wants. The culture starts at the top. If Bill Belichick has to be responsible for the toxic culture at UNC, then guess what? Kevin Stefanski is responsible for the toxic culture over here in Cleveland. So there it is. Now, Myles Garrett had some good words for Dylan. It's a heads up, in my opinion. Let's see it. Oh, before we get there, Justin Fields is now the only starting quarterback in the NFL that hasn't thrown an interception this season. Minimum of 4 games played. That's pretty good. So shout out to Justin Fields. He's finally getting his due. They did him dirty in Cleveland. So shout out to Justin Fields, and for also having discernment to get the hell out of Pittsburgh when he realized they were eliminating Mike Tomlin's power and influence when they were trying to recruit or draft Shedeur. So shout out to Justin Fields for knowing exactly what the hell to do. Shout out to Spencer Rattler, who y'all just heard me say he's elite. Check this out. Spencer Rattler is playing like a franchise QB right now through 5 games. Rattler has 1,113 yards, total yards, 6 touchdowns, and just 1 interception. Rattler has more completions, 119, than Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, and Baker Mayfield. More passing yards, 990, than Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts. And he's working with arguably one of the worst NFL surrounding cast. The Saints QB is playing like a first-round talent. And guess what round he was picked in? Number 5, just like Shadeur. And guess what jersey number he wear? Number 2, just like Shadeur. So really and truly, the NFL has 2 players that they were devaluing and holding back, Spencer Rattler, and then blamed Justin Fields. And Justin Fields wasn't the problem. Chicago is. We all know the Cleveland Browns is the number 1 team, the team with the revolving door, right? The second most quarterbacks going through the revolving door is who? The Chicago Bears. And so these players that are elite are being unjustly devalued under the weight of these toxic, poorly run NFL franchises. There's a lot of blame to go around here, and it's not on these young black quarterbacks. Somebody asked right before I went live on X, is Jalen Hurts overrated? I said no. Is the NFL trying to sabotage black elite quarterbacks so there's not 17-32? Answer that question. They always want to blame Jalen Hurts. It's always Lamar Jackson's fault. It's never Josh Allen can't win the big games, right? So that's why we celebrating Shedeur tonight, because as he continues to move forward, we don't know what he's going to have to anticipate. Kevin Stefanski should be fired. And if he's not, we just going to have to stay on it. And it speaks volumes that he would still be allowed to work there. Like a former Buccaneers coach said, he should have been fired 2 years ago. And look at all the havoc he's wreaking. They could be out there winning. People were saying Shedeur could be bringing to Cleveland the same energy that Jackson Dart has in New York. And let's be clear, Cam Scatterboo is the hero of that team. They want Quishon Junkins to be the hero in Cleveland, so Shedeur does not need to have an opportunity. Pay attention. Pay attention. So shout out to Spencer Rattler, who finally got his opportunity after he was unjustly a 5th-round pick. The man is elite. I watched him play one time. I'm like, hey, he good. And they had him competing with Tyler Shaw. And even when Tyler Shaw failed miserably, they still wouldn't name Spencer Rattler the QB1. Because why? They want Nussmeier's son next year. So they want to overlook and devalue Spencer Rattler this year, which is why they drafted Tyler Shaw, who wasn't good. That was a wasted draft pick. They would never waste a draft pick on a black quarterback, but they don't mind wasting it on a white quarterback who was 8th ranked and had already hit his ceiling. So this is the message to Myles Garrett. Daniel Ojafose reported that Myles Garrett, on his message to Dylan Gabriel, this is ahead of the game coming up in Pittsburgh. It said Myles Garrett on his message to Dylan Gabriel ahead of his first game in Pittsburgh. Now, mind you, they've lost 21 consecutive games in Pittsburgh. 21. Okay? So it said it's not going to be pretty. All that matters is that you get the win. Now, knowing that Dylan is not elite, he's not. He's a game manager. Knowing that Pittsburgh is leading their division, right? 5-1, I believe, or something like that. And it's going to be tough. Is that why they decided to make Shedeur QB2 this week? Because they're going to need somebody to go out there and take them hits. They're going to need somebody to take up the slack because like Myles Garrett says, it's not going to be pretty. Meaning it's going to be tough. And they were talking about TJ Watt going to have Dylan on the run. Y'all just saw that list. Is TJ Watt playing? I don't know. I guess we're going to see on that day. But if he's out, it says a lot. So here's the question. And I asked this yesterday or earlier in my caption. Is Shedeur being QB2 performative or perfect timing? Let me know your comments in the chat. It's to Shedeur Sanders, knowing that they have lost 21 times consecutively in the regular season to Pittsburgh. Since 2003, they have not won a game. And Pittsburgh is tough, like Myles Garrett said, and he's one of the toughest. So he would know. Is it perfect timing? Or is it performative? Meaning, I really came and got you so some other things could happen. It really wasn't about you elevating to QB2. Or is it perfect timing because maybe Shedeur wouldn't flinch against Pittsburgh because of how he was developed at Colorado and through Jackson State, right? Meaning Shedeur would have a better time against Pittsburgh. So we're going to see. We're going to see. But let me know your thoughts. Now that you know that Cleveland has not beat Pittsburgh since 2003 in the regular season. That's a long time. What's that? That's a long time. It's a long time. So shout out to Myles Garrett for just putting it like it is because Dylan needs to brace himself. But I showed you the injury list to see who's on that list that they could be resty, that, like they say, vets are resty. Who's on that list that is truly impactful that could make it easier for Dylan for them to rest a vet? I see TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward, and DK Metcalf. I know Metcalf, but he a receiver. TJ Watt is on defense. So we just going to see. Y'all let me know. Maybe he did the full practice. Game status is aligned. I don't even know what that means. Maybe that means he could play. So y'all going to have to let me know. Because I'm looking at all the angles here. We celebrate for Shedeur, but I'm looking at the angles because if Myles Garrett can stay, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be pretty tough. Then, they probably know that too. And they're like, well, let's just put Shedeur in here. So pay attention and let me know if you plan on watching the game. Now that Shedeur is QB2. Just food for thought. All right. So that's where we are with that. All right. So we're going to head back over to the comments. Amber said, congratulations, Shedeur. We know you coming for QB1 somewhere. Right. And I agree with Amber. We know you're coming for QB1 somewhere. What difference? This is the difference maker. Why? Let's say he gets in the game. Let's say it ain't no sweat for him. Let's say he does well with the limited time that he would have, whether they win or not. But he does like he did with Carolina and ball out. It's going to be hard to go back to putting him on the bench. So, and I see people really coming for Kevin Stefanski. Like I said, see like Haslam staying quiet while Stefanski take the heat. But everybody have said up until today that really Haslam is the one pulling the strings and Stefanski just doing his bidding. I see podcasters in Cleveland trying to say Haslam said enough of this. I'm like, that's bull crap. Just like you thought he was the reason he got drafted. No, Stefanski is not acting independently. The one that's quiet, whose team it is just as responsible, if not, is the catalyst for the discrimination that Shedeur has been facing. It said there's no way Stefanski should be allowed to call plays for Shedeur because it ain't going to end up well. It said because he will be playing at some point in the next 3 games. Yep. And honestly, look at what he did with the Rams game. Look at what he tried to do with the Panthers game, but Shedeur got away from it. Look at what he succeeded with. So people are saying, look, if they call check down plays for you, if you get in, if they call check down plays for you, throw them check downs. Like your daddy said, everybody else using them. So don't be afraid to use them because everybody else is. I totally agree. Don't let Kevin Stefanski get you crossed up. You trying to play his game, and the game plan is for Dylan, which is a game manager. So be that. We know who you are, and we know what Stefanski is up to. I don't think Dylan Gabriel gonna make it against that steel curtain. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. People are like, yeah, I think they put him in because they know Dylan can't hang with this. See, they didn't expect Flacco to be gone just yet. And when Flacco starts his first game, he's the starter. And when he plays, I think he get ready to play the Bengals again. So, no, he's with the Bengals. He's getting ready to play the Packers again. He left the Browns, who just defeated the Packers. And now he's going to the Bengals as a starter, and they're getting ready to face the Packers. So he getting ready to play them twice. So very interesting, very, very interesting timing. Charlie X said, I think Reese, as in Tommy Reese, the OC, the offensive coordinator, will be the ones calling the plays. I hope so. Hey, Sharon, how you doing? Bridget said, I'm not watching until Shedeur starts at QB1. Okay, that was my answer. Is anybody watching? And Bridget said, and let me know how y'all feel. Bridget said she not watching until he makes it to QB1. So he got to be QB1 first. I'm like, okay. So Bridget, do you not think they're going to let him play? This is more performative. Let me know. Because you saw who's on the vet resting list. I didn't even know they did that. But then there's a little dotted line at the bottom. I will be looking for TJ Watt when I do find out about the game. It said, no, sir. Shedeur throw those balls away if needed. Okay. All right, Juanette. Welcome back. Beach Material said, what is the cheapest way to watch the Browns game? What you got to find out what network it's on. And if it say like ABC or if it's ESPN, it might be Sling. But if it's Peacock or Paramount, I think one of those are going to be the best. Just look at the list of where to watch and see what comes up. Crowley said, no, I'm not watching the Browns. When Shedeur starts, I will watch. Okay, so Crowley also is saying she going to wait like Bridget until QB1 happens. Okay. Beach Material said with a prediction, Colorado 30, Iowa State 21. Okay, I like that. I'm going to put a star by that. Okay. Joyce said, we'll catch the Browns and Steelers. Okay, Joyce says she watching it. Okay. Gail said, Shiloh signed with the modeling agency. What? I saw him today. I didn't know if he was in Colorado or if he was in Dallas, but maybe that was Colorado. Okay, congratulations to Shiloh signing with a modeling agency. Okay, he definitely capable. Definitely. Congratulations to the Las Vegas Aces, the NBA champs. Okay, all right, it's a lot happening. So the Aces are the champs. All right, with the 4-time MVP. Shout out to the Las Vegas Aces. Shout out. Thank you, Isaiah, for letting us know. I appreciate that. Let me see if I can celebrate right fast. Let's see. Because, I keep it queued up, but that's the touchdown music. All right, congratulations to the Aces for winning the 2025 WNBA championship. All right. All right. So shout out to them. All right. Shout out to the Aces. Shout out to Shedeur. Happy birthday, Miss Pilar. Congratulations to Shiloh for signing with a modeling agency. A lot happening. It's a lot happening. So let's see. Let's go back here. If you're just not joining us, let's see how many people there are. There are 210 of us. Hit the like button, please. Going across the bottom, hype me up, like, subscribe. If you're just not joining us, if you're new to the channel, we are less than 100 away from 5,500. So we're over our halfway point, but we're just trying to get there, get close to 10,000. So if you could get us to 5,500, less than 100 away, we could get new subscribers. We can just keep on going. So thank you, everybody. And then also we're asking for the prediction for Colorado versus Iowa State tomorrow. Join us for the watch party beginning at 3:15 right here on YouTube, but we're streaming it also on Twitch and X, so you can catch all 4 hours of the watch party. So a lot going on. And if you're watching the Browns game on Sunday versus the Steelers, let us know. Crowley says she thinks CU gonna win. I hope so. It said, Ladau said, oh, the safety Terrence Love played in game 1, recorded no stats. That was put on the injury report for the next game and hasn't been heard from since. Ah, okay. So it didn't start out well, or it started out well, then hit a bump. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Ladau. Because I've seen it on X, I've seen it on YouTube. I'm like, okay, you know, I didn't know the name. So I just wanted to get the skinny on that. So I appreciate that, Ladau. It said they'll have no pass rush. Charlie X said they'll have no pass rush. Who are you talking about? Let me know who you're talking about, Charlie X. Hey, King. It said, hey, Queen, checking in from Atlanta. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It said those are some big names. Okay, so there are some big names on that list of players that might be resting or injured. So we're going to have to look at that list and see who actually lining up in the game to see what's really going on. TJ is a Pro Bowler. That's what I thought. We'll see if he's playing. TJ is him. Okay, all right. So that's somebody that y'all said is definitely impactful. TJ Watt. Okay. White, Ramsey, Metcalf, and Hayward. All of them are actually impactful. Let's see if they show up in the game. Because if they are all absent, it's definitely going to make an impact and give the advantage to the Browns, I would imagine. Definitely gives Cleveland an edge. There we go. There we go. There we go. I'm going to save that too, Charlie X. We're going to see how that goes. Go Buffs. Hey, Z, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I think Metcalf just recently came from the Cowboys. Now, I think he came from Seattle, didn't he? I think he came from Seattle because I think I posted that he got engaged as soon as he got to Pittsburgh to the singer Normani, and I shared it. So I had to learn about a bit who he was. He used to play with Russell Wilson. And apparently this happened at the time. It made it appear that Metcalf was coming to join Russ, but then Russ got booted out. So this happened early in the process. But Russ got booted out. But I really think he was getting ready to rejoin Russ because the Seahawks said they were sad to lose him. But they also say they didn't want to lose Geno Smith, but they ain't retained either one of them. So I don't know. But it seems that Metcalf sat down and had a conversation that gives the impression he wanted to move on. And there was nothing they could do. It was just time. So we'll see. And they are leading the division. So there's something there. I think Metcalf just recently came from the Cowboys. Yeah, I think if I'm wrong, y'all can let me know. But I thought it was the Seahawks, but I could be wrong. It says Stefanski should not be allowed to finish the season. He cannot be trusted with Shedeur. Right. And that's the thing, right? If you were doing all of this to hold him back, and former pros are having to call it out, right? Current players are having to be transparent because you over here lying. You over here lying by omission, and you just flat out lying, using perpetuating racial stereotypes by trying to say he can't learn the playbook and this, that, and the other. And you want to send it out to your little cronies in the media, but nobody's dumb. You know, people who think everybody else is dumb tend to be arrogant and fall on the sword. And to leave him in place after he's already been called out, he is discriminatory against Shedeur. You can pick the reason why, but I'm going to go with he's biased because Stefanski has an issue with Shedeur being a quarterback, which the most important position on the team. I've heard him say that so many times. And then Stefanski saying things like, we have standards like Shedeur can't reach them. It's always something to discriminate and hold back Shedeur. But he want to prop up Dylan. Well, he at a point now, you playing a team like Pittsburgh, you're going to get Dylan injured. And then what you going to do? Right? So he's allowing his bias or his racial bias or his hatred to put Dylan in a position where he can go ahead and get his head knocked off against Pittsburgh. Or they got to ask Pittsburgh to rest their most impactful players. There's no coincidences here. Dylan proved who he was in training camp with all of those reps, and Shedeur still beat him out. But this Stefanski cared? No. He just used it to deny Shedeur as if it don't matter what you do. Hopefully his time has come to an end. And like I said a few days ago, that he's replaced or terminated mid-season. I don't care. Put Tommy Reese out there. He actually talked like he has some sense. It said, I didn't know they had Jalen Ramsey. Yep. It said they traded Minka Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey. Oh, okay. Thank you for sharing that. What team did Jalen Ramsey come from? The Jaguars or somebody like that? It's almost Shedeur time. There we go, Seth. There we go. There we go. There we go. It said, nope, I'm wrong. He did come from Seattle. Okay, that's fine. I just didn't know if I was right or wrong. I didn't want to misspeak. But I had to look into him because I was posting about him getting engaged. And I knew he played with Russell Wilson. So, but I still had to do some research just to see had he changed teams. So it said, y'all, Stefanski is dirty. He would try to set up Shedeur like he did in a preseason game against the Rams to make Shedeur look bad. Right. And you know what people were saying? They're saying that guy, Tony Grossi at the radio station up there in Cleveland, is just harping on Shedeur not being a good quarterback because of the Rams game, but totally choosing to overlook the Panthers game. And nobody wants to utter that Kevin Stefanski set Shedeur up using a goon squad and dismiss all of them the next day. All you had to do was look at how he took Shedeur out the game at the 2-minute part and put in Huntley and dismiss Huntley before lunch the next day. He needs to be fired. I bet if one of them TV stations up there start investigating, he'll get fired instead of worrying about having access to a team that's out here discriminating against Black players, especially the quarterback. It said, that food looks good. Yeah, she did a real good job. Miss Pilar, I didn't know it was her birthday, but she was over there cooking. I was like, wow. I thought did I see like puffed crab legs or something like that? Very, very good menu. Very good menu. I think Steph Curry and a business partner opened up a restaurant too. I think he has a restaurant going. Why is Stefanski calling plays anyway? He shouldn't be. It should be the offensive coordinator. It says Stefanski is messing up his reputation amongst players in the league. Yeah. And I think people already knew he was a joker because when I did research on Deshaun Watson and I asked the question, like, does Deshaun Watson fit Stefanski's offense? It was like, no. See, Stefanski wants a Dylan. Somebody I can fill their head with lies, make feel like they're better than anybody else that I don't want. And I think it's very interesting or concerning that Deshaun Watson doesn't fit Stefanski's system as a dual threat. And Shedeur Sanders doesn't fit Stefanski's system as a pocket passer. They just don't fit because they're Black. They're not even the same kind of quarterback. He's just looking for a player that he can gas up and dumb down the quarterback position to. And that's Dylan. That's why he drafted him. Dylan was an undrafted free agent for a reason. Shedeur was a first-round draft pick. And I'm talking top 3. So, yeah, hopefully we got somebody calling the right plays for Shedeur. Priscilla says she going to watch the game. Okay. She says she's looking for the foolishness. Yeah, somebody got to watch it, right? Somebody got to watch it. That might be the reason I watch it, but we'll see. We shall see. But no, I totally agree with you. You can't look at this game and, yes, we're excited. We're celebrating. But you can't look at this game and go all is well going forward. Not as long as Kevin Stefanski worked there. And I said it about a week ago or 2. I said either Shedeur stays and Stefanski goes, or Stefanski stays and Shedeur goes. But I said it from the beginning. I said I do not trust Stefanski with Shedeur's career and his safety. And that was well before the Rams game. And I was very concerned when Stefanski said, we're going to have to put him down. And the next thing is the Rams game, and he gets sacked 5 times. And they use that game to justify placing Dylan at QB2. And even when Daniel Oyefuse said, well, now that Shedeur is QB2, Is he going to get first team reps now with the starters? He never answered it, and I don't even know if it's happening. That's important. We know the gameplay is for Dylan. We know the game plan is for Dylan. But did Shedeur even get first team reps to be ready in case? In case. Just in case. I don't know. And I don't know how to find out unless I just go ask Myles Garrett. But, he ain't going to answer me. But that makes sense, right? Because for all we know, Shedeur is elevated to QB2, have never practiced with the starters, and understand, everybody knows Shedeur has a high football IQ, and I think he can get there because he played against the Panthers QB defense, first team defense, and he did well. But the point is, you're setting him up to fail if to this day he still has not had first team reps. I think Andrew Berry and them got his number, and he gonna make Kevin do right. Okay, Amber, I'm gonna save that. Priscilla, Justin Fields. Yes, I'm happy for Justin Fields. I just need Aaron Glenn to come on and win some games. I don't have time to watch. I'm one person. I don't have time to figure out the foolishness over there to see what's really going on. I'm happy that Justin Fields is doing well. I just hate that Aaron Glenn finally got his shot and he had won any games. And I don't know if there's no malfeasance over there. I'd have to take the time to go investigate. It say, y'all know they forced Kevin to make him QB2 by not signing Zap to the roster. Probably because, I don't understand why he couldn't elevate. I don't know. Again, I don't really know. I said yesterday when Stefanski had the interview and he was like not non-committal about Shedeur being QB2. I said, is he playing with Shedeur's mind? Could have been. Then again, Shedeur could have known. I don't know. But the point is, did he finally make it to first team reps? Because as Daniel Oyefuse pointed out, when Dylan made it to QB2 or when he was QB2, he had first team reps. Stefanski never answered that question. And I don't know the answer to it, but it does matter. It said, hold up, how Cleveland do feels dirty. If I say Cleveland, I meant Chicago. Yeah, if I say Cleveland, I meant Chicago. Because Chicago has a revolving door. That's second behind Cleveland when it comes to quarterbacks. And thank you for telling me I didn't say Cleveland. Y'all be looking out for me. I appreciate it. It said Russo Bay said if Arch is worth his salt, he would not go to Cleveland. Let Shedeur's experience be a lesson. And that's why I think they're allowing Kevin Stefanski to put his foot in horse stuff because on the ground. So I said it yesterday. I said, now y'all know they want the Manning kid. And I said there will be 3 NFL teams that the Manning can influence. One is Cleveland. The other one is the Saints. And the third one is the Giants. Now, it wouldn't surprise me at some point, just like Tom Brady has some type of limited partnership in the Raiders, if we hear that this happens for the Mannings by way of the Browns. They would have influence over 3 franchises, and they helped put Tyler Shaw in New Orleans, Jackson Dart in New York, and the Manning kid is supposed to be going to Cleveland. I'm pretty darn sure that the Mannings gonna be like, I'm sure they didn't have this conversation. If Arch is coming over here, he gonna have to go. And I feel like that's why Haslam is sitting back and allowing Stefanski to take the fall for the catalyst, the decision to restrict Shedeur's movement. That didn't come from Stefanski. That came from the owners in the draft, and it carried over to Cleveland with the same owner that told you, he not my pick. So that's why Haslam is sitting back, I believe. I said this yesterday. It would surprise me if they clearing the path for Manning, which is why they didn't want Shedeur to play in the first place. This is why Mary Cabot came out and said yesterday or day before, well, Kevin Stefanski is not on the hot seat because it's hard to win when you don't have your quarterback. That includes Dylan not being their quarterback. And I talked about that yesterday. And then today he on the hot seat. So she don't know what the hell she be talking about sometime too. So I personally think there's something else going on to prepare for getting the Manning kid. And I told y'all he could not be good. If they can convince him to come out of school, that's where he going, because the Browns already have the first pick. And that's why they didn't want Shedeur to play, because they don't want the fans going, what the hell you get rid of Shedeur for this kid and he ain't good? Because they want the name. They want the brand name. They don't give a damn about winning or losing. So Shedeur gonna end up moving on to another team anyway. But at least when he moves on, they're gonna have to put that fifth round pick, third round pick to the side. They're trying to say his value is worth a third round pick. If he get out here and ball out and make something happen, they're gonna have to move off of that. They ain't gonna have no choice, because the fans ain't gonna let it go, and they see it. It said the compliments is to back you off because you've been killing it. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So understand, they gonna do what they want to do anyway. And just like I said yesterday, I said Stefanski gonna find himself on the short end of the stick. I said, because just like he doing Shedeur, they gonna do to him. Watch what I tell you. Yeah, you know, we're gonna have to let you go. And it's all gonna be to clear house and get who the Mannings want in place for the Manning kid to get drafted #1, whether he's good or not, to Cleveland. I told you, when they turn on their own, pay attention. Somebody gonna get the short end of the stick. Stefanski's dad came out of the basketball world, so he a nepo baby anyway. But they gonna put the Manning over him too. I don't think they gonna let him coach, because he's not a good coach. He's not. And look at his record now. It was already trash when the season started, and it's getting worse. So really, he needs Shedeur to help him win, but he dumb. He's so arrogant, and he's so blinded by racial bias that he can't put his aside. He believing that they're not gonna turn on him. Baby, karma is waiting on you around the corner. Mark my words. What she said, Sports Spencer was being devalued as a senior at South Carolina by digging up a video at the age of 15 talking trash about players on his team. What? Oh, okay. South Carolina, the same South Carolina where Lenore Sellers goes? The one where he got concussed and I ain't heard about him since? Wow. And his dad said, you have a chance to do something special here in South Carolina? Should have took the $8 million like, what's his name? Darian Mensah at Duke. Smart move. Did y'all know that the QB1 for Tulane is Retzlaff from BYU? I never heard nobody say it. Again, I got Sling TV, so the college game was just on. I saw Tulane. You know, I'm from New Orleans. I saw Tulane and East Carolina, ECU or something like that. ESU, whatever. And I clicked on it because it's Tulane. I hear somebody say Retzlaff completes a pass. I had whiplash. I was like, what? So he made it to QB1 at Tulane. Pay attention to the draft, because I think this is his year too. And y'all know what happened in wherever, Utah. It don't matter, right? Because all Shedeur did was this. Retzlaff had to get his way out of a situation. And let's see if he get devalued. Not if he over there at Tulane. And nobody said a word. It said rewind. She said Cleveland, but she misspoke. Okay. Okay. The NFL is failing. Yeah, I think so. It said Tyler Shaw is so bad. I know, Charlie. And you know what? The fact that he had already failed miserably at the combine, he failed miserably at the Saints. They made him compete with Spencer Rattler. And even though Spencer had beat him, they had 3 games. Spencer had won them or already beat him out. They still were not ready to name Spencer Rattler. So then that last preseason game, I say, if these people don't name Spencer Rattler the starter, and they put Shaw in there, and Shaw had to take a moment and go down to the Manning Passing Academy to get remedial help, and it still didn't help. The same way they pushed up Tyler Shaw is the same way they're going to push up the Manning kid. See, they've already done what they're getting ready to do. Troy Aikman called Prime to get the truth, probably. I mean, anybody with eyes can see. And I don't think so. Anybody with eyes can see. Yes, Scatterboo is him. Don't let these people fool you. All you gonna hear is, and I like Jackson Dart, but let's just be honest. I see what's happening here. They like Jackson Dart is bringing the energy, right? Because Cam Scatterboo is out here scoring the touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns in that game. Somebody else had one, and Dart had one, a short pass. Because that's what he good at. They're not going to tell you that. And they don't want Shedeur to get out here and look like he did with the Panthers or better. And all this work he been putting in, I think he a monster now. They ain't ready. They don't want that because they still want Dart to be the guy, right? And they don't want Cleveland to come from behind and be right up there with Aaron Rodgers. And then let's say Cleveland makes it out by the skin of their teeth. And even if it's a wild card game, and Shedeur is the quarterback, that's going to go up against who? Josh Allen. They have carefully orchestrated this situation. Let's see what God says. Because Shedeur is QB2, and we don't know what's going to happen, but we know he's ready. And he's been ready. He was ready when he was drafted. They don't want to admit that because the owners took him off the board. And they trying to get away from that. Just like they're trying to get away from the NFL giving out Shedeur Sanders' phone number and falling into the hands of Ole Miss, who supposedly dated the GM, the GM's daughter, in the New York Giants, the only team to defame Shedeur Sanders. You know they don't want to talk about that. The fans in Pittsburgh hate Cleveland and tend to play them really hard. Oh, really? It said, good luck with that. Okay, we're going to have to see what happens. It said, I hope it's not a setup. We're going to see, but don't be scared. Don't be scared. Shedeur is very smart. I don't know if people know, but the Carolina Panthers was supposed to be a setup. Shedeur got away from that. And then he went over to the side and asked for a deep ball. So there's somebody over there. And maybe that was Tommy Reese. I told y'all I didn't know who the person was. And the OC should be calling the plays. And Tommy Reese had good things to say about Shedeur. I posted it last night on YouTube. I took what he said and I just posted it on YouTube in the community section where the posts are. And I asked the question, are things changing, with a question mark? And people were like, he been ready. But Tommy Reese said, all we've asked is for consistent growth. And he's done that. Now, he gave us that. So people were saying that the Jaguars and the Browns are trying to take credit for Travis and Shedeur's development. So I don't know what's going on there. But I think the pregame show put out a video. I didn't see it. I just saw the headline. It said something about the Jaguars head coach, like being dishonest about that's not happening for nothing. But I didn't look at it. If y'all watched it, y'all gonna have to let me know. But it's like they were kind of bringing light to the situation that this is intentional. So people were saying maybe that's what they're trying to do with Shedeur, take credit for him being as good as he is. But how can they? He was good in the Panthers game, and he had no first team reps, so they can't do it. And I told y'all yesterday, I think the rumors about Coach Prime eventually becoming a Jacksonville Jaguars coach is actually what might be digging at Liam Cohen, who just got there. So that's what I think. I think Stefanski, people want to give him too much credit. Nah. Because I told you one thing about people who are racist, they can't hide it. And he wasn't slowing down no time soon. TJ Watt is a goal for the game. Okay, so TJ Watt is in the game. We'll be looking to see how he played. It said, that's crazy. 2003. Right, Kane. They have not beat Pittsburgh since 2003. It's 2025. Lord, have mercy. Hey, Gracie, how you doing? Welcome back. Premier Sports Talk said, that's for home games. We lost to the Browns last year in Cleveland in the snow. It said regular season games. You saying it's different for home games? What? Okay, it said regular season games, but that's fine. Whatever it is, it's a long time to lose, whether you at home or away, since 2003. So that's very, very interesting. It said, Tomlin girl here, I don't care who is playing, Steelers all the way. Okay. Okay, Pete, Ivy. So you will be watching the game. Okay. Stefanski never called Shedeur a QB2. He kept on saying Shedeur was the backup. Okay, Sharon. All right. I think it was Adam Schefter who reported that Shedeur's QB2, which coming from him, that's the same person that told y'all Baltimore called Shedeur in the draft or something like that. He's the same one that said the Browns were, he can confidently tell you the Browns were drafting Shedeur at number 2 overall. He has not repeated that statement since. Perfect timing. And the Browns just beat Pittsburgh in 2024. So was it home games? Was it when Pittsburgh plays at home, Cleveland don't beat them? And thank you for the clarification. It said Shedeur audible out the plays against the Panthers. Kevin Stefanski was pissed. It said Kevin Stefanski in an interview actually said 12 need to follow the plays that are called by man, whatever. What interview is that, Premier? What interview is that? The blogs. She said the blogs. It said YouTube streams the game. Yeah, but you have to have what is it called? YouTube Plus or something like that? What is it called when you have to have the other YouTube? Like there's this YouTube, but then they have it like a network of shows and stuff that they have. I had it. It was like $83 a month, but it was always 7 seconds or damn near 30 seconds behind the actual game. But I forgot what it's called. You have a separate app to use it. It said the Browns are not worth watching. Okay, Elijah said he's not watching. It says Shiloh signed to a talent agency, not just modeling. Okay, so that's good for his music because he said he got some music coming out. Thank you for College Bound CFL for that info. It said the announcer for the Giants game said they made the choice not to get Shedeur Sanders because Dart is better. Okay, we're not listening to nothing that the Giants say because they karma waiting on them too. Because they over there propping up Dart. Let me tell you something. Philly being 4-1 could afford to lose a game, but it is problematic that all of a sudden, like I said, I didn't expect it for Jalen Hurts, but I said it was going to happen to Jaden Daniels, and you see his knee got messed up. Jalen Hurts' pocket protection for the last 3 games has been an issue all of a sudden. We're going to see what happens as it gets later. Maybe they're going to have to rely more on Saquon Barkley. We'll see. We'll see. Because that's exactly what the Giants are doing. Dart is not the star of that team. Cam Scatterboo is. Number 1 defense in the league, and they are the ones that draft Shedeur. What does the Browns having the number 1 defense in the league have to do with Shedeur, who plays on offense? See, you're going to have to say that, right? You're saying we have to be patient. Did we rush up Shedeur to be QB2? No. But to basically let Kevin Stefanski run loose, discriminating against Shedeur, holding him back, restricting his movement, which is the very definition of collusion, is nothing to be patient about. See, patient is one thing, but holding Kevin Stefanski accountable is another. And as a fan, that's what you should do instead of making excuses like so many of their fans have. College Bound CFL said Colorado 38 and ISU 24. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. We know our coach sucks. Maybe hold your coach accountable. It says Shedeur will play against Cam Ward and Caleb Williams. Okay, that's Chicago and the Titans later on in the year, right? Okay. People have said they feel like Shedeur is going to play against the Titans. I haven't heard anybody say anything about Chicago, but okay, we'll take it. We'll take it. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen going forward. The Dow said, I'm watching. He may end up playing. Right. That's what I was curious about. If people feel like he might get in there. It said, Yashir said, Shedeur will start for the rest of the year, starting at either the Dolphins or the Jets, unless Dylan Gabriel gets hurt. 12 about to ball. Okay, we'll see. Fred Simmons said the Dolphins. Premier Sports said the Rams. Jalen came from Miami. Okay, Miami Dolphins. Okay. So Jalen Ramsey is official, came from the Miami Dolphins. So he was over there with Tyreek Hill? Or were they in I guess like a trade or something like that? It said the announcer of the Giants game said that the Giants made the right move not to draft Shedeur Sanders because Dart is 1. And that's why Shedeur Sanders is not QB1. Because they don't want that. They don't want Shedeur to get out there and be the star with the most touchdowns bringing the energy, the electricity with the swag. No, they don't want that. They don't want that at all. And for them to say that out loud, it's not surprising because they were the same announcers saying it was a waste to get Russell Wilson. Was it? Or you just not going to call out that y'all propping up Dart and really Cam Scatterboo is your star? They have their own agenda. And it's for the Giants to look like they did the right thing. So what happens when Shedeur get out here? And let's say he win all the other games that they have, then what they going to say? That's why he was always being held back. Because they knew, look at what the Giants did to Shedeur. They're not going to get away with that. In fact, their karma already started. They went down there and lost to the Saints. And yesterday, because they beat the Super Bowl champs, and people like, there's a script here. That suddenly they're good. Then why did you lose to the Saints so poorly? Why did Jalen Hurts have to be sacked 3 times? What was it about that 2-3 defensive stars are out and 2 were traded? Like I said, they dismantled that team. And when they started parroting that the Packers are going to go to the Super Bowl, I'm like, how the hell you know that? Because that's what they're working on? We'll see. We shall see. Premier said, I'm homegrown Pittsburgh. Ramsey is questionable with a hamstring. Okay, thank you. Appreciate you, Premier Sports. Titus said he hoped Flacco wins. And with the Bengals, yeah, I do too. It said Reese should be the OC. I think he is the OC, right? Tommy Reese is the offensive coordinator. He should be calling the plays. And again, I don't know who Shedeur was talking to when he asked for that deep ball. Maybe it was Reese. Maybe it was. I'm not sure. What you mean, Tommy, when you say his dad was the same way? Let me know your thoughts. Expand on that a little bit for me. Sharon said, can we start a fire Kevin Stefanski petition? He makes my head ache. I don't know. Y'all want to start a petition? Are they going to read it? Are they going to read it? Because I know they've been hearing all these comments out here. Donald Muhammad said they will never stop trying to set Shedeur up as long as he's in Cleveland. That's what I said. Well, as long as Stefanski's there. Yeah, it might be something else later, but with Stefanski there, he's not going to ever get a fair shot. It said the Cleveland fans are actually starting to see through the BS. The local media in Cleveland is starting to say the same things we're saying, really, because I need them to do some investigative reporting. That's what I need. Fox News 5 or whatever it is, I need them to do some investigative reporting into the Browns' business practices and start with Kevin Stefanski and work your way over there to Haslam. Dylan Gabriel will not have a good game. My Steelers are going to sack him. How many times? I'm going to save this. Titus say he's going to get sacked 5 times. What did Myles Garrett say? Myles Garrett say it's not going to be pretty. And if Myles Garrett is telling you that, and that's Myles Garrett, we're going to see, because I'm not convinced they're not going to slack off a little bit. We're going to see. We're going to see. I still think Pittsburgh is going to get the dub. But I think as ugly as this game could be, I think they're going to take it easy on it. That's what I think. For the reason that who just said what the Giants said. That's all they wanted. They wanted this season for Dart to appear that he's better than Shedeur. But for Dart to appear better than Shedeur got to be benched. We're going to see. We're going to see. It said Dylan Gabriel is not good. Arch is good. Arch is I think he's a good passer. And I think if Arch gets one more year, I think he's going to be good. But I don't know if they're going to give him time to develop. They don't care. It says Sanders will play this year. Okay, we shall see. We shall see. It said Manning playing awful this year. He's not coming out. Oh, okay. It said, I think Dylan Gabriel is solid. He's a natural backup who can be a bridge starter. Shedeur is a franchise QB. Okay, Charlie. LaDown said they are talking about benching Arch Manning. What? Is it that bad? What's their score? What's their record? So they talking about benching him? Well, he damn sure can't come out number 1 to Cleveland. Maybe Cleveland trying to pivot and figure out. I don't know why they just didn't get Carson back if they just want somebody. If you don't want Shedeur, then trade him so he can go ball out somewhere else. The problem is that's what's not happening. It's like they just holding Shedeur hostage and back from greatness. They know who he is. So they talking about benching Arch Manning? Oh, wow. Is it that bad? Are they playing some real teams now? UT football. That's crazy. I didn't hear that. Again, I've been watching people on boats. That's what happens when prolonged malfeasance take place. I got to move on to something else and come back. Oh, are they getting ready to play number 6 Oklahoma? So the Texas Longhorns are 3-2 under 500, and the Oklahoma Sooners are 5-0. Ooh, that's gonna be a game. When do they play? Let's see when they play. Oh, they play tomorrow at 3:30. Okay, I won't be watching that. I'll be watching Colorado. But while we're live, I'm sure y'all will be informing us of what the score is for Oklahoma Sooners and the Longhorns. So Oklahoma versus Texas. Is this the Red River Rivalry? Is this that big rivalry that they have that they play? Normally they play in Dallas or something like that. Yep, at the Cotton Bowl. That's a huge game. And they talking about benching him because the boosters probably like, I'm gonna need y'all to go out here and win this game. This game is huge in Texas. This another big one. That's another big one right there. So that's gonna be interesting to see if they bench him or not. We'll know about it tomorrow while we watching the Colorado. It said, hey, L Will, yo, it said, how you doing? How you doing, Turner? How you doing? It said Callie Laura said, oh, she just reposted the stream. Thank you, Callie. Thank you on X. Trouble with Youth said YouTube TV. That's what it's called. So you can watch the game, but you got to get the YouTube TV app, unless you're talking about one of them other types of streams. And they normally don't last, but then again, I don't know. That's why I decided either to get the day pass for Colorado. I just went ahead and subscribed for a month because if you use $5 times 4 is 20. But then I get to watch some of the other games too. So iTunes TV. What happened to the other one that everybody was watching? I forgot what it's called, but it's gone. Stream East. That one just disappeared. That one just totally disappeared. Thank you, Joyce. I'm doing a live watch party at Sports Cafe in Atlanta for Steelers Browns game on YouTube. Oh, really? At 1:00? So if y'all are in Atlanta like myself, and you want to go to a live watch party, Premier Sports Talk has one. So y'all can check that out. Okay. And you streaming it too? Let me know if you stream it. I might watch your stream. I'll support you. I'll put a star by it so I can know to look for you. Okay. It said Yahoo Sports, Newsweek, Clutch Sports are all reporting the pressure is on Sarkisian to bench Arch Manning. That's going to be interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, because they getting ready to play Oklahoma in a Red River Rivalry and they don't want to lose. And Oklahoma's number 6. So they need a strong quarterback in there. Stefanski stole Coach Prime's quote, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Shedeur Sanders smile says it all. Really? What did he say that? Z said, need to see Shedeur go to the Raiders or some. Nobody want to cheer for the Browns. Some people say Miami, because I don't know how long Tua gonna be there. I don't know. Z, I agree, and so does Stephen A. He will be QB there. Too much drama in Cleveland. I don't even want to do with the Raiders now. That's okay. It's up to him. Obviously, it's his decision if they ask him, but not up there with Tom Brady because he a backstabber. I don't care what you say. Once you stab me in the back like that, I can forgive you, but I can't trust you no more. You're not supposed to. That's how you get stabbed twice. Turner said, what is NFL Insider Buzz talking about Shadeur getting $90 million? Is that one of y'all? Let me tell you something. Y'all have got to be weary of these YouTube channels and they getting slick. I watched a channel that was supposed to be a Dallas Cowboys themed channel. And it was supposed to be a black guy sitting in the chair with a beautiful background. I was like, that's really nice. I was like, maybe it's extra room in their house and they just gutted it up or whatever. And I'm looking at this dude talking. He making the same mannerisms over and over. And I watched his eyes blink, look like from the bottom to the top. And I was like, whoa. I was like, this is AI. And I'm pretty good at it. I'm like, this is AI. I said, that's why his speech is so rhythmic and his movements are the same. And it was a 15-minute video. It was called like Dallas Cowboys Central. That is not a human being. If you ever watch that channel, that is not a human being. There is somebody running around putting out AI channels for every single team. So, all of these Locked On Cleveland, Locked On Dallas, Locked On. I think they're trying to replace having those people to be live and paying them. So they want to pay AI, which, is nothing. They just make the video and they don't have to pay the talent. That's what I think. Because I think it said Dallas Cowboys Central. That's crazy. It looked real, but the longer you look at it, you like, something ain't right. Yeah. Be wary of a lot of these channels or AI and a lot of new Shedeurs. It's like new Shedeur Sanders channels pop up every day. And I'm like, why is this the one topic that so many people are gravitated towards? Like, y'all don't want to talk about this. You don't want to create a channel for that. No, it's like they just, I don't know, just happen on the wave, I guess. They must see something. That's why I told y'all, Shedeur Sanders owns the algorithm. If you want to pivot people's attention away from something else, just announce something about Shedeur and everybody's eyes are going to go that way. Just kind of crazy. So watch out for those AI channels, y'all. Hey, Bridget, I'm praying for our nephew Shedeur. They better not try and hurt our nephew with calling plays he never practiced with. I don't trust Stefanski. I totally agree. Bridget has a very, very good point. I'm sure they have an extensive playbook. He's won. We don't know if he practiced with the first team rep yet. We know he probably haven't practiced every play that they have in their arsenal. And if they call plays that he's not familiar with, then that could be a problem, right? So Bridget makes a very good point. We excited that he gets QB2. Now the time we just start, making sure that, we show him some love, that is good, that he just don't get crossed up. And you call it out. If you see something, you say something. Because that's why we're right here. That's why we're here right now. Stefanski would like to blame the Steelers' loss on both Gabriel and Sanders. I bet so. Why? Because he's losing. At some point, he got to stop feeling like I can just go down the hill and Haslam is going to bail me out, because that's what he thinks. He was horrible in 2013, 4-13 or something like that. And he got a new contract. So why should I worry about winning? Why, if I know the agenda is to get somebody else next year, why should I worry about Shedeur? Why should I worry about if Dylan is really good or not if we ain't worried about winning because we got the first round pick? That's no Haslam. You're supposed to be trying to win. You're not supposed to be colluding for talent. You're not supposed to be taking on the talent that they want to ostracize. No, you're not supposed to do that. It said, can you imagine Shedeur in that silver and gray? I did at first. I guess I'm not very quick to move on. I don't hold grudges, but I don't trust it. Look at Tom Brady since then. Like, but the colors would look nice. Personally, I think he would look good in Miami colors. Unless you're talking about, and we know, he could still end up in Dallas. He could still end up with the Cowboys. Not this year. Well, that could happen too, because he and Shedeur and Joe Milton got the same contract. But Dak is out here balling, so maybe next year. I think he's going to move around, though. I think they're going to put him on another team. It said Dart got hit hard and was on the ground too long, and Wilson had to go in. That coach was about to have a stroke. It said till Dart came out of the blue tent, they had to push coach out the blue tent. Right. I saw here. I saw the picture with Daboll looking in the tent like, what the hell is going on? I need him out here. Okay. They must have told him he got to play or they going to fire him. I'll move to Vegas then. Give me a reason. Oh, if Shedeur is the Vegas Raiders, the city probably could use that. I heard it's not doing so hot, but I don't know how true that is. Just like from listening to 9 AI channels, listening to people who like live stream from there every week that live there, they say it's just kind of dead sometimes, and that's not what they expected. I'm like, I think they're in New Orleans. I think they in New Orleans. If you watch Earth Camp, New Orleans, you like, do y'all go home? Do y'all go home? Shedeur not playing Sunday. It's all Dylan Gabriel. Okay, CJ. That's fine. We won't have a problem with that. It said Charlie X said, yep, it's the Red River. It's the Red River. Arch can't be benched for that game. That would be crazy. Okay, so wait a minute. If he's not good and they playing number 6 ranked Oklahoma Sooners, wouldn't it be best to have somebody else play so they can win? Isn't winning the priority? Or is keeping Arch Manning in the game the priority? What's the priority for UT? Because we talking number 6 Oklahoma with 3-2 Longhorns. Let me know. It said Arch Manning has a proper welcome to the SEC. Facts, 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 facts. Okay, Premier said he's streaming. Okay, I have to figure out how to find it so I could be on your live stream. I just probably gonna be in the chat or something like that, or just check in on your live stream and support you. So let me know. I saved it so I could find it. If y'all want to live stream the game, the Browns and the Steelers, y'all can watch Premier Sports Talk if you want to just be in the live stream watch party. She is live streaming it. They are live streaming it on Sunday. All right. Charlie says silver and black. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Turner. Thank you. It said get some. It said this show is ridiculous. He's a backup. Relax. You know what? I'm gonna give you one more opportunity before I block you. Before I block you. Hey, how you doing, Money Man? Welcome back. I need y'all, Cleveland fans, to start holding your team accountable. Don't come to my live stream and tell us to relax when y'all not doing y'all job. Y'all got a rogue head coach over there. Like Troy Aikman said, holding back one of the most promising quarterbacks in Shedeur Sanders and letting him rot on the bench. And you want to tell me to relax? Y'all not doing y'all job. You can't be scared forever. You need to go over there and hold Stefanski accountable. Y'all know what he doing is wrong, but you want to tell me to relax? Telling me to be quiet while you watch Shadeur be discriminated against. What does that say? That you complicit. So it says Shedeur teammate are ready for him to become QB1 because the Browns are the most talked about team because of Shedeur Sanders. I think the team knows that Shedeur is a leader. Well, yeah, of course they do. And they said, honestly, really, the team should have spoken up. They said the question was early on, how long before Stefanski loses the locker room? Right now, it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that Myles Garrett, who's a leader, Jerry Jeudy, who's looked at as a leader, and Denzel Ward, who nobody's going to touch him and say anything, and he's on defense, speaking up on Shadeur's behalf, right? And then Tommy Reese comes in his press conference and said, Shadeur's given us what we have asked for, right? I don't think it's a coincidence that all of this is happening while Stefanski is hemming and hawing. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot to consider. You know, I got to do the right thing for the players. I bet the players like, you ain't doing the right thing for us if you just setting us up to lose with a game manager and the defense gets the turnovers and you do absolutely nothing with it. That was just all bullcorn. To him and her, as they're, trying to abuse his power. Stefanski wasn't focused on winning. What did he say after the Lions game? When asked if he gonna replace Flacco, what did he say? The quarterback position is not our focus. We just gotta do better on offense. You think players want to hear that when out there busting their butt? And then Flacco is gone. You know who need to be gone next? Stefanski. Because Troy Aikman is spot on. I don't hear nobody telling Troy Aikman to relax. Like I said. It said Miami and Dallas too. He just need to get out of Cleveland, right? You know what? I like Miami. I still think Dallas could happen. Not maybe right now because Dak is doing well, right? Actually, I had the standings, the NFL standings up. I wanted to take a look. Here we go. Let me share it with y'all so y'all can see what I'm looking at. There are 258 of us. Hit the like button, please. So let's look at the standings to see where everybody is. And I'm going to sit down on one of these live streams and check in on the 16 black quarterbacks and see where they stand week 6, whether it's the beginning or the end of week 6, because we talked about 17 to 32. So I think we should do a good measure to see where they all are around week 6, right? What is it, 18 games? So that's a good point to take a measure and see how they're all doing. Because we know they all elite. Every last one of them. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that Daboll running to the tent. They probably told him if Dart don't play, he going to get fired. And he seemed to be doing everything he can to keep his job because people wanted him fired too. Yeah, people said Daboll should have been fired about after, I guess maybe before Saquon Barkley or after Saquon Barkley. Their GM definitely should have been fired. Their GM should have definitely been fired. And then they end up in the mess in the draft. But they caused it, so it is what it is. NFL standards. Let's see where everybody is as we going into. All right, so let's see. Make sure y'all can see my screen. Take Troy Aikman down and move up the standings. All right, so these are the standings. All right, so we have all right, so we have the AFC leading. We have the Bills at 4-1, the Jets at the bottom. I hate that for them. AFC North, the Steelers at 3-1. Okay, so maybe they're going into week 5 over here. Maybe it's week 6 in college. And the Bengals, where Flacco's going. Now everybody want to watch Flacco, which I don't have a problem with. They lost 3 games, so let's see if Flacco can help them improve by beating, I think, the Packers twice. Then there's the Ravens. The Ravens, for the first time probably since, I don't know, Lamar got there, 1-4, same record as the Browns. Ooh, that's terrible. They lost 3, the Ravens lost 3, and the Browns lost 2. So we'll see what happens. But the Steelers are in that division. Sounds like, coming out of the division, either the Steelers going to win it outright unless Flacco can go over to the Bengals and help. Sound like the Steelers got it. So unless y'all expect the Ravens to come on strong, let me know. Do y'all expect the Ravens to improve when Lamar returns? I don't think he's the reason they losing. His coverage became spotty too in the pocket. His protection became strange, spotty. AFC South, the Colts, then the Jags. All right, so I don't know how this gonna work out, but obviously I'm watching the Jags because of Travis Hunter. I don't know if the Colts and the Jags gonna have to fight for it, but I'm pretty sure I'm rooting for the Jags. And I hate that the Texans and the Titans are at the bottom, especially because Cam Ward, they're 1-4. That's terrible. Then there's the AFC West. The Chargers are at the top, and then the Broncos, and they kind of tied, except for the win-loss. And then it's the Chiefs, Pat Mahomes, surprisingly, Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson are at the bottom, which is just like the Matrix, because what, right? And then the Raiders. So for the people who want Shedeur to go to the Raiders, they 1-4. Let's put him on a team that has a chance, because I don't know what they got going on over there, but they haven't been able to get it together in the last few years. Antonio, what was his name? Pierce. They fired him, but obviously he wasn't the problem because they dead last. So, yeah. So, yeah, no. Let's find him somewhere else to go. I still say I'll take Miami over the Raiders. Not that I'm trying to push Tua out, but Shedeur like Miami, and he deserves some happiness on his next stop with some good weather. Like Greg Newsome. Shout out to Greg Newsome II. They got traded from Cleveland to Jacksonville. People are making stories about it, talking about how he winning in life. I'm like, he sure is. He had a little baby girl. She cute. He got traded to the Jaguars away from the Browns, who are dead last, to a team that's actually going to be in playoff contention. I was like, maybe, and mind you, they traded him for the same position that he plays. Cornerback for cornerback or safety for safety. The same exact position. I said, I think Andrew Berry must like him. So he's like, you know what? You cool. I'm going to get you out of here. That's what it's giving. Not saying that's what it is, but I said I needed to sit down and look into why it is they made the same trade for the same personnel. They just switched geography. And the other guy that Cleveland getting is worse than Newsome. Newsome is actually a starter over there and is considered to be an impact player, not the one that we got. I'm sorry, y'all got Cleveland. If you're Cleveland fans, y'all need to explain that trade. Newsome for whoever the other guy was. and Newsome was better. Why would you trade away a good defensive player? Let me know, please. It said the Giants definitely getting fined for that stunt Daboll pulled. He saw his job flashing before his eyes. That must have been what it was. That must have been what it was. Shout out to... Oh, I see somebody got banned. All right, do your thing. Divine blessings. You spit facts. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. It said they all faithful to the program. That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. It said how long before Kevin Stefanski get fired? I don't know, but Vegas need to start taking odds. I say mid-season. Let me know. I say mid-season. I'm gonna go with game 9. I just grabbed that out the air, but I say mid-season, whatever the mid is. It said, yeah, Dart had a concussion. Oh wow, I hate that. I hate that. Shedeur Sanders is gonna make his team make rock stars when he get his opportunity. They gotta protect Shedeur, and they understand what winning feel like. Right. And I think a lot of players, even though they didn't say it out loud, the 3 that, had all good things to say, were the ones that, if you ask me, based on the retaliation floating around and intimidation, are the ones that had the courage to speak up and be transparent when it's obvious that Stefanski was being, was trying to be evasive about, and why? I mean, he knew he couldn't boldly lie. I mean, he kind of already has, but the players would know if he's lying, and look at what happened. So that tells me he already losing the locker room. That's what it tells me. It said Newsome do a new contract. Barry didn't want to pay him that money. So he took a player that wasn't good. I guess he's going to draft him too. Thank you for Premier Sports telling me what happened with that trade. The same player for the same personnel swap. Like, that's just weird. So it was time for a new contract, and Newsome gets to go to a better team in playoff contention, and you get a lesser player that, knowing Andrew Berry, he going to deal him away and get something else. So he just didn't want to pay Newsome. That's crazy. Anyway, all right, so we're going to get out of here. 254 of us. This was awesome. I went through every last comment. And thank y'all for banning people who don't know how to be respectful. Shout out to y'all with the tools. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And thank you, members, for hanging out today. And thank you, supporters. Thank you for new subs. Thank you for new Patreon peeps. Don't forget, have a new content over there, and I'm getting ready to post something else. All right, so I'll see y'all tomorrow, 3:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the watch party. Premier Sports is having an in-person watch party in Atlanta on Sunday. I will be popping into his or her live stream on Sunday, just to show some support and love. He already in the 404. Shout out to you. All right. So, you never know. I might have to pop up on your live stream one of these games. I might have to come visit and maybe do a show or something. All right. So that's something to put a pin in that, Premier Sports Talk. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 3:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for What She Said Sports Lounge. That's what I call it. Have a good night. Have a good night. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.